It's better if a Japanese man doesn't challenge you to a Mario Kart drinking contest. That does make things slightly better.
But at least Natsuki lost, and so it felt like justice was served.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to the Abroad in Japan podcast. Probably the best way of learning about life in Japan without actually being in Japan. I'm your host, Chris Broad, and we're joined as always by England's top Japan enthusiast, Mr. Pete Dawson himself. Pete, how the devil are you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, Christopher. The weirdest thing happened when I got back from Tokyo last week. I didn't get all that much jet lag.
You bastard. Did I
just stay on British time when I was out? I don't think I did. I think I mainly sort of stuck to the usual kind of the tides of Japanese time. I can't figure it out really. I came home and maybe I was just busy. Maybe I just continued drinking. I don't know, but I just managed to sort of not lose that many hours to staring at the wall because of jet lag. Maybe I was just blubbing knackered. I don't know. Very, very weird.
Maybe rascal, man. Maybe
nearly 15 hours on bloody ANA economy did me in.
How was your flight back? Because your flight over here was atrocious because you were sandwiched between two very large guys in the middle of the middle seat at the back, and you couldn't even get your beloved Steam Deck. Was it Steam Deck? Deck
brought my Steam Deck out. I didn't have enough room to play an actual Steam Deck, so I just played Balatro on my phone for about 5 hours. On the way back it was much better. But oh god, it gets to about, no matter how sleepy you are and how much sleeping you do, it does get to about hour 10 and you're like, how is this still going? How is this plane still in the air? Like, how is there so much petrol, aviation fuel in this goddamn plane? It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely weird, but they're still flying.
Yeah, it does creep me out. Like, whenever I sit in a plane or when I watch like 300 people get on it, I'm like, how does the physics behind this work? I don't understand. I recently got in a helicopter. We talk about this? I can't remember. But I got in a helicopter and I overcame my slight fear of helicopters. It was actually really fun. Yeah. But getting on a big plane, it kind of creeps me out. Like, how does this? I've studied it. I know all about lift. I've studied the physics. But it just seems like magic. It really does seem like magic. And I want to build my own plane and understand it further. So when I have a free moment, I'll build a plane out of spaghetti and I'll fly it off a bridge.
I do. I watch a lot of, as discussed, the Mentor Pilot YouTuber, who's this wonderful, maybe Swiss or maybe Swedish guy, and he basically goes through air disasters, and he explains why it all went wrong. And he's very good at making you feel a lot better about air travel, and he the way it's weird. It's like I wouldn't go so far as listening to it while you're on a plane, but if you are someone who's averse to plane travel, I would very much sort of recommend having a watch, because a lot has to go wrong for everything to go wrong, but you do sort of go, those, like, most disasters happen where one of the engines dies for whatever reason and they turn the wrong one off. It just seems to be that's the way they've lost their situational awareness and they turn the wrong plane off. It's how that Taiwanese one. Remember that one that hit the bridge and sliced that taxi in half? What happened with that one? That taxi is in. One of I think it flamed out one of the engines and they got confused and turned off the wrong engine.
Oh shit!
So it just smashed into the water, I think. But I think 10 people survived. I think a few people survived that one, which is astonishing compared to how big and how insanely problematic the landing was. But yeah, it sliced a taxi in half, and the taxi is at the Taiwanese Taxi Museum. Basically just saying, look what happened to this taxi. It saved the people who were in it.
It's the museum I never knew I needed. I do want to go back to Taiwan though. I do want to go back. That's top of my list now.
Taiwan.
Love
Taiwan. If you feel like you've kind of done Japan and you need a bit of a break, go to Taiwan. It's the very best of Chinese street food ran with Japanese efficiency. It really is just good stuff. The trains are great. The people are lovely. The weather's fantastic. I love Taiwan. And if you are following geopolitics, get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot. Or not hot. Yeah, hopefully it'll be all right. But there was a phase where I wanted to live in Taiwan. I was this close to doing it in like 2016ish. And then I met Ryotaro and he convinced me to stay in Tohoku, and the rest is history.
History.
That was like a real fork in the road moment, and I do often wonder what would have happened if I'd ended up going to Taiwan.
Chopsticks. What do Japanese and Chinese people talk about when it comes to fork? They don't have a fork in the road.
A chopstick in the road.
Two chopsticks. Two chopsticks. A child's chopstick that's tied at the top in a road.
You've ruined that analogy.
No,
definitely.
I have, yeah.
We got a story this week from Brian, though, and he begins, hello, Chris and Pete. I'm currently on a 28-day solo trip through Japan. Well, hey, travelling from Nagasaki to Tokyo, visiting a variety of places in between. About 5 days into my trip, I was on a Shinkansen going from Fukuoka to Okayama when I noticed the old man next to me was flipping through his stamp book. I commented on how he had collected so many stamps, and he proceeded to share stories about where many of them were from. It sounds like the opening of like an anthology series, doesn't it?
That is good. God, I mean, that is like an anime or a goddamn. It's like a Miyazaki fucking
stamp
thing.
Man.
An old man on a train, yeah.
Stamp man.
And you can climb into the stamps where they are. Oh no,
that'd be so good. And he pointed at the stamp, and then like the story begins, kind of thing. He told me that he himself had just finished a 21-day trip travelling by train from Wakkanai in Hokkaido, good God, all the way to Makurazaki in Kagoshima. I've just come back from there, stopping only by small towns and villages. And he was now on his way back home. He even had a cool custom ticket that he had made and gotten stamped at every single train station he stopped at along the way. We ended up talking for about an hour, comparing stamp books and goshuincho, bonding a lot over our love of Japan's countryside. He told me about how he really loves going to small villages, talking with the locals, exploring the culture in those areas. It felt very surreal that we were so much alike, and that just as I was beginning my trip around Japan, as he was finishing his, I hope that in the future... Sorry, fuck that up. It felt very surreal.
It sounded like he was going to kill him. I'm sorry that your trip is about to end.
And then he took his stamp book and he murdered me with it, and he beat me over the head with it.
Like, your trip is just ending, sir. And he put his sword right through his throat and took his stamp book off him. Thank you very much.
He said there's one more stamp we need, and it's going to be in fucking blood. And he got his stamp book.
Brian, I can't believe you killed that old philatelist.
How does it finish? I hope that in the future, when my Japanese is better, I can manage a trip like that as well. As he bid me farewell, he told me to take care of my health and have a fun time on my trip, says Brian. And that is the end of the story. Lovely interaction there, and Charlotte would have a field day. She sells like stamp books, and every time we drive anywhere, it's like, stop over here at the roadside cafe, and we have to stop, and she'll look for a stamp, and there's like 30% of the time there's no stamps. We've just wasted 10 minutes, and she has to get the stamp. To be fair though, every time I'm like, do we have to stop? And then she gets the stamp, and they are so beautifully elaborate and so beautifully drawn and sort of made out. And it's kind of like, all right, that is kind of cool. And there's always something kind of local about the area. Maybe it's a trade, a building, an animal. It's really cool. And, I want to meet this old man.
I've got confused, and I thought he was genuinely collecting stamps. You know, like you do when you're a kid, you collect stamps from like different places.
Indeed.
Did you ever collect actual stamps, postage stamps, rather than stamps?
I collected Where's Wally books, Where's Wally magazine, travel
Wally
magazine,
books. Right,
and that's about it. No stamps for me.
Right. My dad had a coin collection, and I had a little stamp collection. It was you know what the best tasting stamps were? The former Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia had the best tasting stamps. Now, you shouldn't be licking the back of stamps, because I imagine the glue probably had lead in them or whatever back in the day. But, 1970s Czechoslovakian stamps were absolutely delicious. They had this beautiful brackish tone to the glue, and I loved collecting those because they tasted so good. But I think it's lovely collecting postage stamps, but I think this is lovely as well. Just rolling around the Japanese countryside, and there's always basically, and when we're talking about stamps, it's there is always like an inky stamp thing to stamp in your stamp book. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that's about right. I want to taste. I want the taste of Prague in my mouth now. I want one of these stamps.
I'm gonna get you. The best accompaniment to Coolish is a lovely Czechoslovakian stamp from the 70s. Delicious.
That's bloody cool. That's cool. But stamps aside, what the dickens is going on this week in Japan? What is the news of the week?
Well, it's something you could probably do if you're a bit hungover. I've certainly done that on more than one occasion. But more than 100 people gathered in Tokyo and Hong Kong last month to participate in a spacing out competition that required people to do absolutely nothing.
What?
The aim of the contest is simple. Participants must space out for 90 minutes with the slightest hint of activity resulting in a disqualification. If you fall asleep, if you talk, if you fidget to get comfortable, will all count as activities. Competitors to this weird spacing out competition will have their heart rates checked every 15 minutes to ensure they stay low and steady while an audience votes for their favourite contestants. Part competition, part performance art, Space Out was created by South Korean visual artist Whoop Xiang after she suffered from severe burnout. I wondered why I was so anxious about doing nothing. I guess this is a sort of vibe from the freelancers in the world. They kind of they do stress out about just doing nothing. But she watched other people leading fast-paced, busy lives and felt she didn't measure up. She wanted the competition to remind everyone that spacing out and taking a break to do nothing was important, especially in the breakneck work culture most people lead in South Korea. She said that we tend to think that doing nothing is a waste of time. But the effort one would have to put into doing nothing for the competition was a deliberate move. But in reality, for modern people, unproductive time, doing nothing is absolutely necessary. I completely agree. Do you know what I think? Like back in, the age of the Czechoslovakian stamp, you would be in a situation where you could just take an hour just to stare at a wall. And we just do not have... It was a simple time. We just don't have that... That calm, we don't have that peace anymore.
Now you'd be doing it while doom scrolling. You'd be staring at a wall, holding your phone, going, news.
Like back in the day, we used to sort of go around mates' houses and we'd just knock on their door. And if they weren't in, we'd just sit on their wall and wait for them to return and just space out and think about stuff. You know what I mean? And it was nice. And I'd sound like such an old person, but that was our Headspace app. That was our, ASMR podcast or whatever. That was our staring at a wall, staring out to a road in Emont Gardens in Hartlepool, doxing myself 20 years ago or more. It was just the thing to do. It was a real vibe, Chris.
How many people did this? So you said 500 people did this?
100 people gathered in Tokyo and Hong Kong to participate in where everyone spaces out. It's really nice. You're allowed to use props as well. You're allowed to hold like ice creams to explain how good you are at zoning out. So as the ice cream melts, you're just in the zone.
So 100 people went to Hong Kong, but 528 people applied to take part in this, right?
Yes, yeah. So it was in Tokyo and Hong Kong.
And winners in Tokyo got a trip to the Ise-Shima region in Mie, which is a really nice place with a nice shrine. That's cool. I do think about this a lot. Where would I go in Japan if I was going to burn out? And I think I have a few answers. Number one, Haguro Mountain, where you do like a mountain retreat, which I did with Ryota a few years ago. Good video of that. And we had to walk through a forest without speaking in the snow. And it was nice. It was a wonderful moment.
Did you manage it?
I managed it, and it was a great thing because Ryota didn't speak, and that's a kind of a rare event. It's rarer than seeing Halley's Comet, or it's a rare thing. So for him to be silent was a magical thing, and we got to sit in a temple. It was heated with like a paraffin heater in the winter, the snow falling, and eat like vegetables. It was. I often think about that. I also think like Okinawa would make a good place, like Ishigaki, going to sit on a beach, going to splash about in the sea. I think about that a lot more than I probably should recently, about going there and just sitting in a chair and doing nothing.
Right.
Okinawa and Haguro. Those are two places I recommend. Where do you think you'd go if you had to escape it all in Japan?
I'd go to the busiest pachinko parlour. There was something weirdly calming and transcendental about walking through a pachinko parlour because it's so loud. Or maybe like one of those gachapon, those big shops that are just taken over by mad gachapon.
That's what I do.
Where people are just you just hear the clack and clonk of gachapon machines, and you just sort of zone out a little bit. You're like, oh, this is
like the entrance to my bar. I think about it a lot though. It'd be nice. Mount Haguro's in Yamagata. For those of you, we should go next time you come over.
Take
a nice rare moment.
I'd find a nightclub
where you can stop
talking.
I'd find a nightclub. It'll be good. We're back in swim, guys. Your stories, comments, and questions over in the fax machine.
Wow.
And we're back with the fax machine. What do we got this week from our listeners, Mr. Dawson? Fill us in.
Oliver from Missoula in Montana, which sounds lovely. Greetings, Punctual Pete and Cataclysmic Chris. My finance and I love the outdoors. I presume that's fiancé. My fiancé and I love the outdoors.
My finance and I love the outdoors. Just somebody sitting with a sack of money out on a field.
Yeah,
my finance.
He just goes out to a forest and goes, yeah, who's making paper now, dickheads, to the trees. My fiancé and I love the outdoors and are planning a 3-week honeymoon in Japan. Do you have any recommendations on which national park or outdoor activities we should try in Japan? Cheers and thank you for the laughs. Ola from Missoula, Montana. You have to go to Mount Aso. You'd go get yourself a little Airbnb in the foothills of Mount Aso, or even Nikko, in the middle of nowhere in Nikko, halfway up a hill. Get yourself a little onsen kind of hotel experience, or onsen Airbnb experience, with a little man who comes around and sets the oil fires going, the kerosene fires going every morning. Get involved in that one, and have a bloody lovely time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you and I did last week, right? In Nikko. Yeah. Go up there, go to Nikko. It was better than I thought it would be, I will say. Yeah. It was really beautiful. Beautiful place.
It's better if a Japanese man doesn't challenge you to a Mario Kart drinking contest. That does make things slightly better.
But at least Natsuki lost, and so it felt like justice was served.
Weird thing to do. Very big on Mario Kart. He's like, let's play Mario Kart. It's going to be brilliant. Let's play Mario Kart. We're playing Mario Kart, and the loser has to drink loads of whiskey. And he proceeded to lose the entire competition and have to drink loads of whiskey. I think he just wanted to drink loads of whiskey.
Yeah. That makes the most sense, because he certainly wasn't that good at Mario Kart. It was very weird. It's a smart move.
Oh,
I'm surprised it wasn't. The loser has to have a whole pack of Marlboro cigarettes. Dear oh dear. We got a story from Craig from Glasgow. He says, hello guys, as we approach Christmas, I've been thinking about entertainment, specifically family board games. Do Japanese people play the likes of Monopoly and Cluedo, or do they have other long-standing and deeply competitive board games? Keep up the good work, Craig from Glasgow. I have never seen Japanese people play a board game, actually. Have you?
Yeah. They love Pop-Up Pirate. I'll give them that.
There is Pop-Up Pirate. There was a lot of Pop-Up Pirate in the place we stayed in Nikko. That was fun.
Yeah.
We didn't play it,
Pop-Up Pirate. Yeah. There's Japanese, I think, if it makes a video or not, but there is a lot of versions of Pop-Up Pirate that seem to be exclusive to Japan, because I ain't never seen them around. There's ones where it's one barrel. If you're familiar with Pop-Up Pirate, you got plastic swords, you stab a barrel, a pirate goes, oh, me bum, and jumps out in some kind of spring release, and he flies up in the air, and you've lost Pop-Up Pirate because you stabbed the pirate. That shouldn't really be the forfeit, though. If you're stabbing a barrel with a pirate in it, you shouldn't be surprised that the pirate jumps out going, I can't believe you stabbed me. The pirate looks surprised, you look surprised, nobody should be surprised you're stabbing a barrel full of pirate. Either way, there are special versions of Pop-Up Pirate, exclusively to the Japanese market, and there's barrels with 5 pirates in, so you've got even more chances to stab a pirate. Sickos.
It must be quite good stress relief after a long day. Stabbed a fucking pirate.
Yeah.
And also, Jenga. It's quite common, actually. Jenga.
Right, okay, yeah.
Which always ends badly.
A bit loud though, isn't it? Oof.
Connor beat me at Jenga the other day, and I wasn't happy. I was robbed. I was robbed. One last question from Ronnie, who says, hello guys, this one's for Pete, actually. You mentioned you'll be taking an empty suitcase to Japan to fill with all sorts of goodies. Can you tell us what you have stashed in there, what you took back with you all the way to the UK? Hope you had a great trip. Best, from Ronnie in Denver. What did you take back with you?
What did I take back with me?
Coolish?
I bought no, I didn't buy any Coolish.
Oh, no.
I had a 1-week obsession with a cream cheesecake flavour of Calpis. If you're familiar with Calpis, it's like a yogurt. It's like a diluted Yakult, but it's very delicious. But they've got a special cream cheese flavour, and I drank about 10 bottles over about the space of about 4 days, and it's unbelievable. And if you're heading to Japan right now, you have to try it. It is fucking delicious. And I wish I'd brought some of that back, but no, I bought an analog camera, We took some pictures of Natsuki out on the ranch, out on the lam. I brought an analog camera, but I bought some headphones. So some really headphones. Cool Japanese stuff. So just some Bose and Wilkins some PI6 headphones. So there we go. That's what I brought back. Oh. Nothing particularly Japanese, one would suggest, but
no rice cooker.
No rice cooker. Already got one of them. Not used it for ages.
When's your video coming out? You shot a really slipshod, awful vlog when you were over here.
How dare you?
What?
How dare you?
You know it's shit.
How dare you?
What happened to it? What's going on?
Well, I've put the video file. Turns out making videos takes quite a while, doesn't it? When you've had a busy week. I'll get to it before Christmas. I'll put it. Really? I'll slide a little 5-minute or maybe less. Let's make it very clear. Probably less into one of these shows before Christmas. A little pre-Christmas treat. Pete and Chris's time away. / Pete's trip to Sugamo. Is it Sugamo? What's the Harajuku? Granny Harajuku? What was that?
Yeah, Sugamo, yeah.
Yeah, Sugamo, yeah. Turns out it wasn't a boob in a box, guys. It was a duck's bum. Everyone in the YouTube comments, the last video was saying, it's not a tit, it's Pete, rude, dirty, it's actually a duck's bum. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, sorry. I did not realise. There was me thinking a normal part of Tokyo would have a normal mascot. But no, it's a duck's arse. So, sorry, not tit, duck's arse.
It was very weird, though. It was like a fucking Rorschach test trying to understand what it was. Like, you look at it, it could be anything. It was really weird. So, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that mystery, because literally the bottom of that mystery. What a weird thing. Did you know why it's there, though? Did you understand why? The weird shrine with the duck's
something. I think the
there.
I think the duck is some kind of. I don't know. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see it on the picture. I've dragged it into OBS.
I can see it on YouTube.
It's just a goddamn duck. A duck's bum in it. Like, I'm sorry.
Looks like a lemon.
If I identify that.
Is there a man being physically sick next to it? What's he doing?
It's like I thought it was a tit, but then someone told me it was a duck's bum. Yeah, apparently it's a duck's bum. I can't see what's that? Gamon no Ojiri. What does that mean, Chris?
Gamon no Oshiri means like backside. Gamon means like duck.
Okay, well there you go.
There you go, yeah.
I should have known.
It's as simple as that.
I should have known. I should have just read that. Oh God, I've moved my camera. Yeah, I should have known. But it turns out it wasn't a boob. It was a duck's bum. So there we go.
The mystery.
Problem solved.
You never know what you're going to find on your trips and your travels around Tokyo, especially in Sugamo, of all places. Granny Harajuku. Keep the stories, questions, comments coming in to abroadjapanpodcast@gmail.com or down in the comments below on YouTube. But for now, guys, have yourself a great few days, and we'll see you right back here to do it over again on the Abroad Japan podcast. Bye for now. Have a good one.
Ta-ta!